Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Terra Tech. Now, in this episode, we're going to be doing something a little different, something I've been wanting to do for a while, but I did get a suggestion from one of our viewers that kind of morphed this idea into something else, which I'll explain here in a little bit. But as you can see, it's getting nighttime right now. I wish it was daytime so that you guys could see. I did kind of go around, clear up the area like I've been doing, and that took about an hour to do. And as I did that, like 14 bots spawned, like literally right on top of me. So this entire area is even more messy than it was before, which is just, yeah, it's I can't keep up with it. They spawn way too often. So because we have so many bots, we have like 7 bots over here, and we have that giant wall, and then we have this bot right here with all the shields and everything like that. We're getting a little bit of lag because there's just, so many blocks here. The structure I want to build, which I'll get into in a minute here, is going to be big. And because it's going to be so big and it's going to have so many blocks, I'm going to get a little bit far away from my base and build another one. And that's going to cut back on the lag. If you can get far enough away, it usually, I don't know if it like resets, but it doesn't have to render those blocks anymore. And so it kind of cuts back on that. Of course, if you go too far and you come into an area that has a lot of trees and rocks and things of that sort, you're going to get the lag back. So what I am looking for is the salt flats. I'm looking for a nice flat piece of land because this is going to be a big structure. And those salt flats usually do not have very many trees or rocks or anything of that case. So that's going to cut back on the lag as well. The downside is, of course, the enemies, they spawn where you're at. So if you're there for a long period of time, you're going to find that the enemies are just going to keep spawning, and you're going to have the same thing that happened to me over there, where you're going to have like 50 corpses of the bots all around you. I don't have an easy way to pick that stuff up. I've been told that the large GSO tractor pads will pick up blocks. I have those, and they don't pick up blocks. I think it was the Geocore is the one they meant, because the Geocore ones, I believe, do pick up the blocks. It's been a while since I've had them, and it's been a few patches since we've managed to find one. I don't have those yet for some weird reason. We just haven't stumbled across those. I've killed plenty of bots that have the Geocore bot or blocks to them, just haven't happened to have those tractor pads, and if they did, they either got destroyed or I didn't see them. So yeah, we're kind of having to make do with what we got. Now, what we're going to be building on this one, guys, is going to be a base. I kind of wanted to build like a castle that you could enter and drive up into. And the way I'm going to do that is with those diagonal pieces, those like pyramid-shaped pieces that we did that one bot with. That way we can build a ramp that my guys can slide up onto. The other thing that I'm going to be morphing into it was another YouTuber named iPlays Igor.io, and he built one in the R&D department, which is a flying base, and it was friggin' huge, guys, and it actually took off. So he didn't add any of the base pieces in there, he just made a whole bunch of spaces for it, and of course if you get the weight limit right, you should be able to do it. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing on this one. I'm going to be building both a castle that my bots can drive up into, as well as a flying base, because it's going to be both. What I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna create a bot that not only can fly, but can also, take on bots themselves, so that when you get to the location after you've been done flying there, you can just switch over to the other bot, drive out. Almost like in Star Trek where you have like a shuttle pod come out of the Enterprise. It's kind of like that. You want the vehicle to already be made for you, and you're just gonna drive out of it and get going. So that's kind of the theory that I got going right now. Of course, when it comes to flying vehicles, I am not the best at them, mainly with just controlling them. Like, I don't mind building them. I've done that a few times. I've done like helicopters and stuff like that, and they're really, really cool. I like it. But with controlling them, that can be a little tricky. It's not exactly the easiest technique in the world. Let's see, if I raise this guy up, I knew this thing was going to take off. You little punk, man. I cannot. Let's see, idle. Just stay right where you are for a second. What I want to do is put this block underneath. You're going to take off again, aren't you? Jeez, man. Those things, I really wish those things were better with the AI. They are totally not. Some point in the game, Yeah, I know. I've been saying that for a while. At some point in the game, they have to get better, maybe, but yeah, completely and totally not there yet. I really, 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 really hate the AI in this game so far. Um, I hate saying that though. I really do because I love everything else about this game. Okay, let me go ahead and take over this guy now. If I back up, oh great. Of course, I had to get it stuck right on top of my bot. There we go, knock you over there. Jeez, man, I had to knock that guy off altogether. Okay, so the reason I wanted to do that is not because that's the way I want the bot to look right now, but I just wanted it so he can't drive away because I knew this was going to be ridiculous when it came to controlling both of these guys. At some point in the future, I'm told they're going to make it where you can actually make a bot that is, or you can make an object that isn't mounted to the ground after the fact, which will be kind of cool because then when I, really, really, really dislike the AI and I want to make sure that the bot doesn't like run around and just annoy me or run off and gets itself killed, I can do that. I can just say, okay, now you're attached to the ground. I'm gonna lift you up off the ground a little bit, and you won't be able to drive away, and you will no longer be annoying to me. But of course, they're supposed to fix that, and they have done a fantastic job with everything else. Remember when this game first came out, the amount of blocks you could have on the screen was far, far less than you can have now. So they have gotten dramatically better. Are they perfect? No, obviously not. I mean, any game that you play is going to have its flaws, even when it's completely done. So it's not like I'm trying to rip on the game at all. I absolutely love this game. This is one of my favorite games to kind of just come on here and relax and play because it just lets you do what you want to do. And the sky's the limit almost. I mean, it's not as open world as say Minecraft, but it's kind of close. I mean, you're limited to blocks, but you can't dig into the ground like with Minecraft, but you can do a lot of stuff with it. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I need one more on that side. Now, what he used are the GSO 4 blocks, which he put. I believe it's 4 of them down. So he had. What did he have? 8 or 16? I don't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's see, 12. Let's see, 12. We'll do 14 on either side. Again, we don't have to have it perfect. We don't have to have it the exact same size as him, but it's going to help if it does because what his idea is he put a lot of propellers on the front. I believe it was 4 propellers on the front, and then in the inside, because it's basically a giant square, a giant cube almost actually. Without the center being in there. Let's see, we're going to put this on the end right there. Yep, and we're going to go back this way. And then, of course, it goes up. So once you get this actually done, once you get the area done, then you can go back and you start adding some of the other pieces. Now, the reason I say we're not going to be able to finish this just yet so where it can actually fly, but it's still going to be a castle, which is kind of what I wanted to do anyways. But it's going to be able to morph now that I have that in my head. The reason we're not going to be able to finish it is quite simple. We don't have all the pieces we need. Now, he was doing it in the R&D department, so he wasn't having to pay for all the pieces. So I did go around, like I said, and get a whole bunch of money. So that shouldn't be an issue. But we haven't found some of the pieces he has, and I don't know if we can even find all of them. Like, I'm not sure if all of those pieces that he used are in the game because there was quite a few there I had never even heard of. So with that in mind, we're going to do the best we can. We may have to alter the design slightly to get it to work, but I still think it's going to work because with the amount of stuff that he put on there, I think I can alter it just slightly, and still get the same effect. But it's going to take a little bit of trial and error. And of course, if you guys are at home and you're watching and you know how to do this, you've already done, a bot like this, then definitely leave those comments down below because I'm pretty much probably going to need all the help I can get with this. Again, I'm not super familiar with how flying bots work, but I have messed around with them a little bit. And as I said before, guys, I've done the helicopter, which I think was actually one of the most challenging builds that I've done so far because it wasn't just about design. It was about weight requirement. Like you had to... Whoa, I don't even know what happened there. That thing just flew off in some direction. Ah, these are the ones. I don't want the ones just yet. Let me put these over here. But yeah, you had to really balance the weight because if one side was heavier than the other, the whole thing would basically lean to that side and then eventually tip over. And it was a bit ridiculous in just how sensitive it was. But when I say that, when I think back on, oh, see, I tell you, man, these things just spawn all the way around you, even when you're not moving. Because that used to be something I was told that as long as you're not moving, the creatures don't spawn as often. Well, that may have been a thing at one point, definitely not anymore. Whether you're moving or not, they're still just spawning all around you. And before you know it, you look up and there's like 15 guys there. Now, what I should be doing, but I'm not right now, is I should be putting my solar generator down and a wireless charger on it to start charging up my batteries. But it's kind of annoying. Like the noise, it's interesting, but with the amount of power that I need, with the amount of power that this thing requires, that would just sit there all day long with that like electrical noise, which is cool, but not in that kind of quantity. Like you really don't want to hear that. I wish it would be easier to just come on. I know I'm pretty high up because my bot is a lot bigger, and that's why it's having this issue of going so low. But at the same time, it's kind of annoying that it doesn't really realize what you're trying to connect to. I know again they're working on it, so they're going to get that worked out. But until they do, I'm kind of having to deal with the just the fact that it won't quite go where I want. So now you can see the basic design right here. Now I'm going to pull this thing over a little closer. And again, it won't attach to the ground. The drawbacks of dealing with a bot this high up. Let's see. I need another like 60 of them. And I got all these blocks that you saw from bad guys that I killed. And I was, like I said, I was picking them all up and selling them and stuff. And they just kept spawning more and more and more. So, that wasn't really working. I do believe I have a GSO3 block in here somewhere. I don't believe I have the 4s yet because I looked at that just to be safe. Yeah, I got the 3 blocks. So let's buy a few of those. And of course, we may have to buy some of the 1s just to make sure that it all fits in there just right. But I really wish I could do the 4s because that would just save me a little bit of time. And I think that's also going to cut back on the lag because the fewer blocks you have on your map, the less it has to render. It's not even dropping those on the ground, is it? Let me look. Nope. See it? That sucks. If there's too much in the way, it just will not drop the blocks down. So my suggestion when dealing with these payloads, which are very, very fickle now, they used to not be anywhere near as sensitive as they are. You could, put them down right next to your bot. It's completely surrounded. This thing would drop them off. If it had to fall on your bot, it fell on your bot. It didn't care. It would do damage to your bot if it had to, but it would always deliver it. Now it seems like it needs the space around it. Otherwise, it just will not render that block, which is, it makes a little bit more sense. But I think the other way, which dropped it from the sky, actually kind of played more into the story. Like you're a surveyor of the planet and you're working for a corporation, whatever corporation you decide to work for. Yeah, see, that one's not delivering it anymore. Yeah, that's all I can do right there. That sucks. I could move it up a little bit. Let's bring it over here and we can order some more. Let's do that. See how many more we can order, because we're going to need quite a few. Again, it's not just getting the frame right, but you also have to go too high on certain parts of the vehicle so that you can put down the fans. And I'm hoping I have the fans. I didn't even look at that to see if I do. But again, I don't have the wings that he used. Very, very specialized wings that I've never seen before. So it kind of leads me to believe that it's, R&D special wings that or foils or something like that that they're still working on and they're trying out. I hope they integrate it into the game because they do seem very cool. And if you can use them to create a flying base, that's pretty sweet. Like that's not something you're going to be able to do very easily, but it is something you're going to want to do at some point, I'm sure, because this level, I've been told it's infinite. Other people say that's impossible that it's infinite. It does have an area at which it stops. Some people have even said they've fallen off the world doing that. So I guess it's probably not infinite, but it is insanely large. So at some point you're probably just going to be like, okay, I don't need to go any further unless I really, really want to, just to see, what the edge of the world is like. But you don't necessarily have to. So let's just drag these blocks over here a little closer, because it's kind of getting to the point where I cannot put any more down because I'm just too far away and too high up. Again, it would have been easier if I brought a different bot with me. The reason I brought this one is safety, really, because I'm out here really far away from my bot, or my base, really, my center of safety. I don't have my shield chargers out here or anything like that. Again, that's kind of a little ridiculous. Let's see if we can put this over here. There we go. But yeah, I mean, if you're really far away and say an invader spawns, which is incredibly likely if you're out here for a long period of time. I mean, they can spawn as long as you're not in the grass geo, or biodome, then you have a chance of him spawning. And those invaders, they do kind of scale to what you're at, but with that said, they're pretty hard regardless. I mean, you can find invaders that are geocore, basic giant bots, when you're still running around with the GSO, if you happen to be the right size, the right mass, I should say. So that is something you're going to have to worry about when you're building these things, that you're kind of vulnerable. So I would normally have my bot charging up right now, so that at least he would have a little something when it came time for the fight. But as you can see right now, I just don't want to have that noise in the background, because it's kind of annoying after a certain point. So let's see, can we do that? Yeah, we can. I don't know if it's going to line up perfectly with these threes. Again, I might have to use ones. Now, the reason I think he went with a design like this and the cross pattern in the center, again, for the fans that you have to put in here and the propellers, but also because if you decide to build a bot like this that is really long, there is a good chance that the bad guys could get a lucky shot, or you could crash into the ground and do some damage to your bot, and in the process you might break off a few pieces. And if there's not multiple ways of connecting to that, the whole thing, that, like, right now, if I remove this piece up here in the front, because none of this rest, like this piece right up here in the front, if I remove that, none of the rest of this right here is connected to anything else. It's not connected to this over here yet, and it's not connected to this over here. So when I remove this piece, all these other pieces will just come flying off. So you do want it connected in multiple ways. Otherwise, you could have a very, very bad day if the enemy happens to get very lucky and hit you at the wrong time. So that's something you're going to have to worry about. Let's see, we're going to do that. I think that's a little bit too long on... Let's see, can we turn it? Yep, I sure can. This would be easier if I could lift it up and I could actually target myself in here. Let's see, I'm actually going to move this back a little bit if I can. Nope. Definitely doesn't want to let me do it from that angle. There we go. So let's see, I am going to connect these pieces before I get any further. Let's do the GSO 1 blocks. A GSO 2 block would actually be perfect right there, but I'm going to go with the 1 for now. There we go. And I need how many over here? 2? Well, I think I got that. Let me grab these. Now, what I'm trying to accomplish with this bot, again, it's really going to be a base bot that I can travel with, but I want it to be something that can pick up the bots that I actually make and take them with them. Now, of course, this is it's a pretty decent size, actually. It's freaking huge, to be honest. But is it big enough to pick up a geocore bot? Probably not. Especially not this one. Like, this one is going to be about the same size completely in its mass. But yeah, I don't really think it'd be able to pick this thing up. And even if it could fit it in there, I think just the weight alone would make this thing not be able to fly. So you will have to be kind of picky about which ones you take with you. But then that gives you something like a new challenge. Like, that gives you, a new bot that you have to design. Like, something that's really tough, something that's very cool, but at the same time, something that is lightweight enough to be picked up in here. And what I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping to do 2 of them. So 1 on each side in here in the back of this this bot. Let's see. I can pick these things up. I'll move these up here to the front because, again, the front is going to have those propellers, and they need to have 2 high. And the center's going to have it, and the back's going to have it. So you need to have 2 high in there. And, of course, that allows you to overlap a little bit. So if one's destroyed, because those are really the pieces that are going to get attacked quite a bit. The front, the back, the sides. So I don't think you need the dual pieces on the sides, but it's definitely something you might want to consider down the road if you're, teleporting or flying into a hostile area that you're going to get attacked. Having that extra little precaution, And I think that's one of the main reasons, at least I'm assuming anyways, one of the main reasons, he went with a GSO build instead of a Venture build. Because Venture, of course, will be lighter weight, but it doesn't have nearly as much strength. So if you do crash, chances are you're going to destroy something unless you have repair bubbles everywhere. And this is a really, really big bot. That's, if you're going to have repair bubbles everywhere, that's going to cost you quite a bit in your weight. And if you're trying to fly, again, that's, a pretty big concern to have is not being able to lift up off the ground. I've done that plenty of times, and it sucks to get done with your design only to find out that the sorry guys, that the thing won't even pick up off the ground. It's just you have to go back and redesign the whole thing all over again and hope that you're doing it the right way. So yeah, we'll just have to see how that goes. Let's see, can we put this thing down? There we go. And we do have one more block over here. Let's go ahead and put that down real quick as well. Oh man, I am going to, I think between this video and the next one, I am going to put this bot that I'm using right now up on blocks so it cannot fly away. And then I can take over this block right here, or this bot, I should say, the new one, and I'll be able to move around a little bit easier, be able to buy stuff a little bit easier. But you guys can see the overall design that I have going right now, guys. The line right there in the center is going to go straight back as well. Now, it should be even. The front quadrants, the front corner pieces, and the back corner pieces should be even. I'm going with a little bit of an uneven to it, and again, that's because I want my bot basically to be able to fly up into it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna work because it's uneven, but we'll definitely give it a shot. Again, guys, I want to thank you all for watching. If you do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Definitely helps grow my channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, remember to hit that comment section. Leave those comments if you have ideas on how to do this. I'll probably shoot 2 more videos tonight before I upload these, so I remember it's going to take a little while for me to integrate some of the stuff that you guys had. I am listening to your comments. One of you guys wanted me, I think it's Dark Dragon, wanted me to put more weapons down here on the front. I will do that eventually. Just this bot probably will not be the main focus because I'm going to be shifting my focus to this design over here. And then, of course, here in the back, I had a lot of suggestions on how to make this work with the rows and stuff like that. And then, of course, you guys told me that only refined material can go into the GSO grade 3 fabricator. So that's kind of an interesting little note that I was not aware of, that you only can use refined material. So we'll definitely experiment with that a little bit more as well. But I do need a few more pieces that I'm missing. I need that step receiver to kind of get stuff off of the tractor pads. And I also need better tractor pads to be able to pick up the stuff that I want to do. Before I can really mess around with this anymore. Like, I really want to make it something special, and because I need those pieces, we're gonna have to go off and we're just gonna have to explore. But mainly, all of this stuff, all these base pieces, they're gonna go up here on the base bot, the flying base bot, at some point. So that is ultimately, I think, where we're gonna really shine with that stuff. We're gonna get that down. We're gonna make it just like a harvesting machine, basically, that's going to be able to go through the map and just decimate it. But again, guys, thanks for watching, and until next time.